Well, let's go all the way back. So for me, that seed was dropped in an early age when, because I come from a household where there was drug abuse, alcoholism, and all the things. And so I remember as a young girl, I would think, I was like, these are just like so wise. My mom, my brother, like it wasn't my brothers, but I call them my broncos. They're my uncles slash brothers because we just
I
have a
love
really
it.
close relationship. And I would think like, who would they be if they knew who they are and who they were? And I would just, I would get so frustrated just watching them because they were so wise and I just wasn't saying that. And so I'm a little feisty. So I was like, you know what? Well, if they don't do anything with it, I'm going to take it and I'm going to do something with it and I'm going to break the generational cycle. And so what happened for me is I just started to just try on some things because I just knew I was called to entrepreneurship, but didn't really know what that was going to look like. I thought it would be an attorney because I'm like, I'm going to get my Uncle Steve out of jail, but that wasn't my calling as I when I got off into the field of the work. But there were
Yeah.
some other things that was there. Once I got into that field, I started to notice that I was a great encourager. I noticed that people would pay attention to the advice I was giving. I was just giving advice. I thought I just was giving advice. And what I found is that that advice, it became something that started to be real transformational to a lot of individuals. And so I just kept on following the path. So there were seeds deposited into me from my history with my family. I wanted something different and I knew that I just said I just knew it. I didn't know what to do with it, but I just knew it that I was called to change it. And so that's how it started for me.
So good. And then to know that like we have this shared passion towards infusing not just the understanding of business or the empowerment side of things, because I think that there's tons of people out there that can give me motivation. But when it's rooted and founded in that space of identity, like you wanted to call out, you wanted to see from your Brunkles, which I love that so much, more of. You wanted them to be able to unleash and uncover the fullness of who they were called to be. And I think it's interesting that it was from that childlike spirit that you were able to call that out. And I think that's what a lot of people, especially the older generation, need. And I don't know about you, but I have a lot of clients who are decades older than me, which I'm not to position myself as youthful. I am though. I'm still a baby, but I always felt like there was this sense of a bit of imposter syndrome associated to that on how can I speak into the lives of these people who are feeling magnetized to me. And yet that's the exact reason that we need to infuse life and empower from that rooted space of childlike wisdom. Talk me through like how you've brought in new clients and is there an age differentiation? Have you seen now your uncles grow and evolve because of you stepping into the fullness of who you're called to be?
Yes, it's so interesting that you brought that up, and I appreciate that because the thing is that for me, it same thing, that imposter syndrome. Like, if people would come to me, and like you said, I'm still really young, and so people would come to me and they're like 70, and I'm like, who am I to be talking
Yeah.
to them? Like, I think that they should be telling me something. Let me go sit down. And
Yeah.
that's what that church culture as well. Like,
Yes.
where it's like, be heard, but you don't say anything. But it just was something on the inside of me that just said, you better keep speaking, keep speaking, keep speaking, keep speaking. And the thing it was that helped me to break through that is I was reminded of Jesus. Like, he started young in his ministry and he started at 12. And then when he really, really got into it, he was in his 30s, which I'm in my late 30s. And so I'm like, well, if Jesus did it, then I can do it. He lives in me. And so the same spirit that's in him is in me. And so I can go forth and I can say the things that needs to be said as long as they're Holy Spirit led. They're not LaDondra led. And as long as right. And as long as I'm doing things to advance his kingdom according to his will and his purpose, because what I found is that a lot of people want to project a lot of them on you and not a lot of him. And so we need more of him on us than them. And so I've learned to sit in a surrendered state to to receive what I need to receive, be filled up so I can pour out into those clients. And I found that when I do that, that it's not that I'm having to hustle for those clients. Those clients are starting to be attracted to me and my work, because I'm not in a performance based behavior, which I was when I first started, because I thought that, oh, I was supposed to do this, do. But then I found that it wasn't about my doing, it was about me being in Him. And when I be in Him, then that's when everything else will line up, the clients, the money, all of it. And it has. But when I was doing it the opposite way, I started to lose myself and lose that sense of fulfillment